I made a Star Citizen cargo video back in 2022 that is actually still getting views, but now almost everything in it is wrong. So here's my honest take on cargo hauling in its current state, what works, what's broken, whether you can actually make money and it's worth your time. In the short version, to be honest, it's probably one of the best states it's ever been. I've been playing this loop and everything long enough to remember when it wasn't anything like what it is now. It used to be this one of the simplest crews in the game. You picked up boxes, you dropped off boxes, you got paid. And now it's one of the deeper ones. Of course, the reputation systems, profession, progression, that's fun to say. And of course, physical cargo, the biggest thing that actually changed from that original video. And if you have an interconnected industry economy that wants to tie in hauling to mining, salvage, refueling, repair, crafting, in all the ways that kind of make sense. So it does kind of finally seem like there's a career system that's actually worth investing into. And of course, cargo hauling is sitting right kind of in the middle of it. But it does still have bugs. I was using the Ironclad for this just to kind of get a feel for it. New ship. Evan likes it. We got it. And I was running a few of it on my own. And the tractor beams on it were not working like they needed to be. Training mission completely aired out on me as well. Literally picked the box up, went to go deliver it. It got stuck on the ship and would not let me get it out, period. But the funny thing is it went ahead and counted it and let me go past it. So we'll just go with that. And that's not all the bugs. There's a lot of them on it. Of course, you've got the freight elevators not working and like cargo not showing up. There's a lot of things that's happening right now. But looking past all that, the honest state of the game that it's what it is right now, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise, is still a good run with the cargo. The foundation is genuinely solid, and after being away from it for a while, not doing it, trying some other things, when I came back to it fully and started actually playing more of it, it didn't necessarily feel like grinding the same way that I thought it would. Now, if you've been away from the game for a while, one of the first things that you're going to get blindsided with is the physical cargo. The single biggest change to cargo hauling since I last covered it in the cargo video that I did before. Your boxes are real objects now. They exist in the game world, they have weight and size, and they have to be physically loaded onto the ship. It's not a loading screen or anything. You have to physically load it. Yes, you can still get an option to auto load in certain places, but that's going to cost you additional money. It's also going to cost you additional time for them to load it. So realistically, if you want to save all that money, you, someone in your crew, or multiple of people in your crew, actually are going to be moving the cargo. And of course, that is mainly happening through the cargo elevators. Park in a designated bay, use the elevator interface. The station moves everything for you automatically, and that's what happens. You then get your tractor beam and start loading it onto your ship. And that's kind of the fastest way to learn. You learn which stations have cargo elevators, plan your routes around them, and you basically run cargo from place to place. You do still have your cargo missions as well. They do pick up, and that's what I was saying about the senior up to master. They start getting a lot higher. And even like Covalex, that's now tied to the blueprint system for the crafting. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But away from major stations and stuff, like I said, it does have some auto load. If you're not in those major stations, you're definitely going to be loading it manually. And this is where the tractor beams start kind of coming into play. Because other than what the ships might have, you now have multiple different tractor beams. There's two types of hand tractor beams in the game. They're not in the least bit interchangeable. And I don't know if you really looked into it or not, but if you're standing in front of a large crate wondering why absolutely nothing is happening with your little multi-tool tractor beam, that's why. The multi-tool, it's pistol size. It handles up to the 8 SCU boxes by itself. Anything other than that, unless you got someone helping you, is not going to happen. You then have the max lift tractor beam, which is the one I normally always use myself. This is what you actually wanted to get, in my opinion. Greycat makes it as well. Heavy duty, longer battery, wider beam, and it's built for the much bigger stuff. Anything 16 SE or larger that the multi-tool cannot physically lift. This will help you get to it. Is it perfect? No. But it's just better overall. And most places you can find it under the personal weapons, at your cargo, refinery deck stores, and at most major stations. Tammany & Sons in Lorville is also a good, reliable spot. And of course, the Covalex store on the Providence platform in Orson, that carries it as well. You also have the Atlas Exosuit as another option. It lets you physically carry containers with the mech suit, which, let's be real, is kind of cool. Not gonna lie, having the mech suits are amazing. Slower for large loads, but it's very useful in the tight spaces and awkward angles. So it's always worth having a backup, especially if you're doing this solo. And now we're going to get into kind of the cargo system itself, which is also worth kind of understanding. Every ship now has a defined cargo grid. Cargo will fit into the spaces specific ways, kind of like Lego blocks. Once you know your ship's layout, it's fairly easy. The problem is you definitely want to know how much it holds and how that layout works before you begin accepting the contracts, because a mismatch between what the contract needs and what your hold can actually fit can run into a problem before takeoff. Now, here is a change that also turned cargo hauling from kind of just a chore that made a little bit of money into an actual career. Covalex, one of the bigger shipping corporations that runs most of the cargo contracts in Stanton, now has a full rep and progression system. Yes, the other ones do too, as well as a lot of your other mining, salvage, things like that, but that's a different video. But the way this works, you start off with the training mission. You get a kind of a hand-holding brief synopsis of how it works. Granted, if you're like me, it just happened to break, and luckily let me go by without a problem. But rookie is the next step up, and that's where the actual grind starts. Small contracts, shorter routes, really modest pay. That's where I, of course, started out with everything, and where a lot of the video is kind of taking place, going into junior as well, where some of the medium contracts start appearing. Honestly, I was going between Area 18 and Vigini Point, just running back and forth, doing some, except the max amount of missions, which we'll get into that a little bit later as well. Run a few up, drop them off, grab what I already had there, bring it back down, and just kind of go back and forth a little bit. It made the first little bit fairly quick. Now, the member part is a genuine breaking point. The routes begin to open up a lot. Contract quality improves, and that's when you kind of start seeing how it can actually turn into a career within the game. This is where your bigger ships will begin to matter more, because the gap that what a small ship earns versus what a larger ship earns begins to become very real here. A senior, it gets even more, and a master is kind of the end game. Beginning with interstellar hauling across systems. The blueprint unlocks. In the case of hauling in the Covalex, you begin to unlock the military quantum drives. These actually will matter a bit more than credits. They're not permanent, because nothing in this game is technically permanent. But right now, they were proved to be one of the most durable things that you keep. So that's what definitely would make this grind to master worth it as well. And that goes across all your different channels for rep. Every completed contract will begin to build your standing. Even abandoned or failed ones will cost you. You will start beginning to get it. And Covalex does seem to be a bit more forgiving than most of the factions about the bugs causing failures. And like I said, bugs happen. But unnecessary abandons might add up. So make sure you try to complete what you accept. Now, one thing that a lot of people may not know, and I did not know this at first, you can submit incomplete contracts. Say you can only do 25, 50, or 75%, you will get some reduced rep and reduced pay, but it doesn't count as a failure. Something happens mid-run, a server issue, a bug, whatever. Deliver what you've got. And partial credit beats abandoning every single time. There is another thing that apparently, and I've not looked into it as much, but apparently there is rep decay if you go inactive. It's not going to drop you all the way to 0 apparently, but there is a floor at the bottom of whatever tier you happen to be in, and it'll slide back if you don't play for a while. So if you do happen to plan a break, just try to get to that next tier floor before you actually log out fully. Now, like I said, this isn't just about Covalex. They're not the only rep that matters. You've got multiple within it. Red Wing is a big one as well, which they have apparently huge contracts according to SC Haulers in Pyro. I've not had a chance to get over there yet, but that is definitely on my bucket list of things to do. But it's not just that. Like I said, you've got salvaging, mining, refining. Some of those even give you the tractor beam blueprints that you're going to need. They all have their own rep grinds. And that's the kind of a whole video on its own, and I'll be making it later. So if an industrial Star Citizen kind of is your thing, subscribe and I'll break out the entire reputation ecosystem down piece by piece a little bit later. But for today, we're just going to kind of stick with the cargo. How do you start? What does the grind look like? Everything starts, of course, in your Moby Glass. Hit F1, F2, whatever button works. Go to your contracts tab. Filter it for hauling if you want. All the Covalex missions right there. Select those. And I mainly start with those because you get the blueprints at the end. You don't have to worry about trying to hunt down terminals, NPCs, nothing. Go to Moby Glass, select contracts, hauling, find the Covalex ones, you're good to go. Of course, you've got the trading mission at the start. When I did it, of course, it did not work properly. Mine aired out, like I said. And it happens. Just log out back in. Mine just so happened to drop me into the rookie tier anyway. Not going to fight it. It worked. I'm moving on. One mechanic that does kind of separate people who grind from hours for who like rank up within a single session, mission stacking. CSG did drop this. It used to be 25, 26. I don't know the exact amount because to be honest, not gonna lie, I never got there. But you're not meant to run one contract at a time. Accept as many missions as your ship can carry going to the same destination. I would have 2 or 3 missions going from Riker Spaceport to Bajini Point, load all of them up at once, take them up. I would go ahead and accept all the ones from Bajini Point to take to Riker, unload, reload, and just do a return trip. I got fairly high within the junior rank fairly quickly with doing that. I think I stacked 9 missions, 29 boxes in the first, 1 route, half a rookie rank in a single little session. And that's kind of how that's intended to work. Doing a single contract is the slowest way to build reps. So make sure to stack these contracts when you get a chance and do it every single time, especially if they're going in the same direction, or if you're going in one direction, pick the ones up for that. And if you happen to be picking up more from there and coming back, why not grab those too if it'll allow you to do it? Routes that work at each stage. You've got rookie, Area 18 to Bajini Point, short travel, consistent, contract density, and it's a clean loop. And at junior, you can kind of do the same thing, just add larger contracts, bigger boxes, more rep, same loop. So let's talk about ships. Early on, you don't need anything impressive. C1 Spirit, a Titan, Cutlass Black, Freelancer, they all work. If you want a little bit more capacity without spending big, an Argo Raft, it's 192 SCU, rents for about 70,000 credits a day. For serious hauling, the C2 was the community standard. And once you're at the experience rank, it's going to save you some time. I was running the Starlancer Max for most of these, and then we got the Ironclad, which is Evan's. It's now his dedicated hauler. I was using it for my first real solo session with cargo because I got it on loan during a defense con. And honestly, the cargo bay for that is just straight up built for this loop. The tractor beams were a little bit of a situation, but apparently they're working on that. You also can use something like SC Tools, but now the bugs. And it's a real state of bugs because right now, a state of the game video, mission bugs are real. Some contracts break mid run, might miss quantum markers, cargo won't load, delivery points won't register. The big one is the cargo elevators. They are having issues getting your cargo to load up. What's on the horizon? More systems opening up are going to be more routes and, of course, higher paying interstellar contracts with this. The industrial reputation ecosystem is building. You're getting repair, refueling, medical loops at some point. That's the state of the game for cargo hauling at the moment. Like I said, I made a video in 2022 about cargo hauling. Still out there, still getting found, still sending people out into the verse, but the game is describing barely resembles what we're here with now. And what's here now is better, more depth, more progression, more reason to invest long term. Bugs are real. This is Star Citizen, so it's an alpha. things are always a work in progress, but the foundation itself is solid. The referral link's in the below if you're not in the verse yet. Use it, get extra money. Drop your Covalex rank into the comments and your ship cargo. I want to see what you've got. But I'll see you out there. Bye.